What is up, everybody? Let's make sure things are working, and I think they are. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Bradley Jack, and we are going to be making an Ilona Maher graphic. I looked up how specifically to say her last name because it can be deceiving. So let me just make sure we're up and running on YouTube and Twitch, which we are. Sweet. Okay, so let me make sure a couple of my buttons work. I don't know why that disconnected. That's kind of sad. Oh, here. So we got my buttons work, so I can hit that, and that should make noise. But we'll figure it out. Okay, so if you have been following, this is what we have for our mood boards. So everybody liked this mood board. Actually, it was split pretty much on Twitter and Instagram. It was a little split. Let me just adjust this a little bit so I can kind of do that. Okay. So I wanted to do something sort of American themed. Something with USA. Obviously, that's what a lot of this is. The other one I just pulled sort of stuff I liked, but I have a general idea of sort of what I want to do, and it's sort of is playing with these sort of things here. So 3 really defined color palettes. And let me just hit a couple buttons to just brighten me up a little bit. Except it doesn't do anything. Okay, that's fine. Let me just... I don't want to be staring at a super bright light, but it's fine. Okay, cool. So here's what I have. I don't have anything really set up, so this should be set up where you can see the board here, and we've got our design going here. And then I can tweak the navigation a little bit. My mouse disappeared. My mouse is connecting to my iPad, which I do not want it to do. So I'll just trim this down a little bit, and then we should be good. Okay. So this is what we want. So no templates. These are always sort of the rules we're going with. No templates. Where's the holographic going to be? What can we change for color rarity? She was the SB's breakthrough athlete, so can we incorporate that somehow? Where can we put our autograph? She uses the hashtag Beast Beauty Brain, so I think we're going to put that somewhere in the background. I've got an idea what I want to do for that. And then I kind of want to do this red reveal, cyan reveal. So with that, let me show you what I'm talking about with that. This is something that would have been more famous things we do when I was a child. Let me see if Pinterest pulls up what I want. It's not. Kind of is. I'm looking at some. Well, let me show you what I'm looking at here. Oh, this is like, this is crazy. Okay, so I want to do something like, let me just go to images. So like this. So like you have this red pattern on top of like cyan, and you can't really read what it says until you put a red film on top of it. So I'm going to kind of emulate that and do like a red reveal sort of thing, which would be cool because you can say like, hey, Here's the sports card. It also could come with this red film that then displays a message. So I think that'd be cool. So I'm going to hide my notes here. So this is what I have prepped. It's just 2 photos of Ilona. I like this one better. This is a nice action shot. The quality of the image isn't as good, but it'll work. So let me just go in here real quick, and we're just going to erase some of these logos we can't use. So I'm just going to select them. I'll select them both at the same time. Probably should do it individually, and then we'll just right click that. It can't be a clipping mask, and we'll generatively fill. So these are the first 2 images I found that were pretty decent online of her in a Team USA uniform. I don't think we can use this either. So if you don't know who Ilona Maher is, she plays for the US rugby team, and she helped the US get bronze last year in the Olympics. She then went on to be a really great figure in sort of female empowerment, and she was on Dancing with the Stars, if you watch Dancing with the Stars. But she's a great figure for women everywhere, which would mean she makes a good sports card. So this is one of her cards now. So you can see this is sort of what we're going to go with the vibe. And this is sort of reflective of what I do with a lot of my cards. So it's got like this stroke around it where you can see the holographic. This is the basic templated card that Top Scrum made. Rugby, this can change to any team. Easy place for name and the logo, and then the American flag. This is actually cool online because this is a out of 76. It's a fun little parallel. This one's actually 17 out of 76. So that's why this card is on eBay still for like $800. But we have her autograph in here, so we can use that, and we can have that ready to go. So what I want to do is I kind of want to steal these colors. So we're going to use this as a basis of our color palette. So I'm going to go above our hollow because we've got our hollow here if we want it. We've got our border if we want that on there. I'm just going to hide those for now because I think I want this to be a full bleed card. So I'm going to go down to the bottom here, and I'm going to hit solid color. And then I'm literally just going to steal this color. It's a nice looking tan color. I'm going to hide Ilona right now. So one thing I downloaded before this is I downloaded a bunch of brushes that we could use. And I wanted to see how good the brushes were, how bad they were. Because it'd be cool to add in on our mood board here. You know, it's got this nice grit, probably done in Illustrator with some noise. And I want to emulate that a little bit. I like that look. So let me just make sure I'm not on my iPad randomly. So I downloaded some brushes. So if I just grab a brush, you know, these brushes are kind of nice, and we'll use this to cover the textures. Some of these brushes aren't really brushes. They're just sort of like, these might as well be just like images or shapes. Because these aren't really brushes. They're just they're symbol brushes, I guess. But when you download like a calligraphy brush, you expect it to be better. And these are better. I think these are sort of shader brushes that you can do that sort of effect. So what I want to start off with is I'm going to hide my logo for now. Or I guess that's not my logo. Hold on, my bleed is in there. I want the bleed to be here. Okay. So I'm going to hide my logos. Oh, and everything is in there. Okay, well, that's a problem. Let's drop that down there. Hide my logo. Logo. Okay. So I think I want to start with brains. What did I say? Beast Beauty Brains. Okay, so we'll do Beast Beauty Brains. And I kind of wanted to do something where it paired not really money, but something super American. I downloaded a engraver action that we can try. I've used some before that have been good and some are bad. This one seemed kind of not great to use because actions are difficult. So I'm going to continue using this Beechwood font that I like. And there's something... Yeah, you can right click and hit dynamic test and it fills it in like that, which is what I wanted, which is a new feature in Photoshop, which is really cool. So I want this to fill up this whole space. So Beast Brains Beauty. So let me do that again. So I'm going to change this to this Beechwood font that I like, and I'm going to make it skinny and fat, kind of like this. Oops, I want it caps, enter in like this. So I want this to fill up this whole space completely. So I can just right click and hit convert to dynamic text, and it will fill in and make it all the same width. So I don't have to manually do it, which is a newer feature in Photoshop, which is really nice. And then, oh, but I can't. Oh, that's interesting. But I can't change the kerning on it afterwards, because I want it to be kerned better. So that's very interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. So I don't want that to happen. Can I turn it back? Convert to paragraph text. Okay, so I'm gonna do this manually just because I want it to be super tight with the kerning. So just to do this manually, we boost this up a little bit like that until beauty gets hit, and then we go like this. And I guess it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna get rid of this here. And I basically want this to fill up the background as much as possible, kind of like this. And then I'm gonna make it cyan. Now, the way that I believe this works best is this is a lower opacity, kind of like this. And then I'm gonna make a new layer on top with pure red. And I really need this to not go to my iPad because I can't click on the color. There we go. Maybe I just turn my iPad off for now. So I need this to be 100% red and 100% cyan. And then this layer, I can go like this, and we can draw a pattern on top of it. So there's lots of cool patterns, like this would work. And we can play around with this and not make it completely on pop. And I was trying to find a way to emulate this in Photoshop, and ChatGPT gave me a very bad example of how to do it. But I'm going to make 2 of these because I want this to be harder to see. Because you pretty much want it to not be able to be seen. Wow, that's lagging so hard. So if I go like this, you can't really read what it says. I'm going to group these together. I'm going to make a color fill. And this will kind of show the effect, but it's not going to do it at all. If I set this to multiply, you can read beneath it then. But I really need to be canceling out the effects of this. And I mean, I can set this to multiply, which is going to do that. And then if I turn this on and off, this is on top of it. But if I set it to multiply, there. Okay. So we have this off, on. So that's the effect that we're doing. So we just want to make sure that we can't see this very well. But when we turn the layer on, we can read it says Beast Brains Beauty. So that's perfect. That's what we want. But we probably don't want this to be in the whole thing. So I think I want to put like a symbol there on top of it. So I know the Team USA Rugby. We'll see what this looks like. Hit live here to do that. Okay, cool. Let me see here. They have like a nice crest, I think. Let me just look up Ilona Maher and just find the image I have on here. So there's this, you know, this crest. So I think we can do that. So I think I have some shields on my computer somewhere. Shield or crest. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm trying to think of what those would be called. I know I downloaded a font a long time ago. And it had shields inside of it. What are these? Oh, they're right here. Good. So here's a bunch of like shield looking things. So I'm just going to open this up and we'll use this for what we want to do. I think we're going to put a shield on the background of that. I just need Illustrator to open, which is opening now. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. Let's grab this one. I like the look of this one. So we can take this smart object and kind of go like this. And then we can just group this together. And then maybe we make this a little bit more apparent. but I want it so you can't really read it at all. And this probably would print a little bit better than this. But it's still here, and you can do that, and you can see it negates it. So maybe we just make Beast Beauty Brains smaller like this. And maybe we do something with this, because we can have this here, but what's really going to happen if we put, you know, an image, which are in here still, which is not what I want. There we go. So we put an image on top of this. You know, what is that going to, is that going to defeat the purpose of what we're doing? You know, if we have Ilona Maher here, if we have her running, we can't read that it actually says what we want. So let me put this down here. So if we cover it, it'll say Beast Brains Beauty. So maybe we put something back there to still play on that, but it's something you can actually see. So I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, and let me turn this on and off. Yeah, so maybe it's, you know, these, we can, honestly, what we can do is we can, I'm gonna make this and just type in Easter egg. Let me put this over here and hit Command 0, so we try and keep this right here so you guys can see it. I mean, we could also just make this a pattern too. So maybe we do that. So I'm going to turn this to a smart object, open this up, and I'm just going to go to edit, and then you should just be able to hit define pattern, and I can just say B. I don't need to save this. So I can get rid of this. So I'm going to now grab this, which is underneath it, and I'm going to make it white. So I'm going to give it a color overlay of white. So I can set it to multiply, so it goes away. But if I give it a pattern overlay, that is the pattern we just made, and make it, the opacity is fine because it was already opacity, but if we make it like 66% or like 50%, then when we put the overlay on it, you can see that it says Beast Brains and Beauty. But I want to give it a little bit of an offset. Let's do 45, you know, 45 degree angle, 33 degree angle, which looks good. But we need to edit the original pattern to give it a little bit of padding. So we'll just give it a little bit of padding like that. And then we'll do the same thing again, image or edit, define pattern. And I'll just save it. Doesn't really matter what it's called because it's my computer. And we just change the pattern overlay to the new one. And then it has some padding. So now that we kind of want to do that, what we can do is we can do a lot. We can do whatever we want. So what I'm going to do instead is, how do I want to do this? I'm just going to make a, I'll just type it out here. So we'll just type it out. Beast Brains and Beauty. We'll make it smaller. And this way we can have it sort of stack a little bit. So we can go like this. How do I want to do this? Because there's two different ways you can implement a pattern. You can fill, and then you can also use the pattern overlay. I like the pattern overlay, but for this we might use a fill. So I'm going to make this cyan. And I'm using 100% of the colors because when it prints, it needs to theoretically be 100% cyan. So I turn this off and we can see it there. Okay. So I'm going to turn this to a smart object. We're going to open it up. We're going to give it a little bit of padding like that. And then we're going to go to edit, define pattern. So that's a pattern. I'm going to make it just new document. And we're going to make it just 2000 by 2800. And I'm going to make a new layer on top of this. And what we're going to do, a new layer, is if you have just the marquee tool selected, you can hit, or maybe not, edit fill, and we can fill it with a pattern. So I'm going to fill it with the pattern of what we just made. I'm going to do a brick fill. That means it's going to stack like bricks, which is what we want. I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to show up like this, how it's going to look. So this is how I want it to look. So I'm going to hit OK. Oh, except it doesn't. It did something funky. And I know what that is. So I'm going to fill this again. And there's a bunch of cool stuff in here. You can do random fill, crossweave, spiral, symmetry fill. I'm going to do just a brick fill. Hit OK. So in this window that pops up, looks good, but I don't want the brightness to change. I want it to be the exact same brightness the same time. So I want 0 there. So it's all the same color. And then I can hit OK. So I'm going to turn that into a smart object and copy it over here and paste it. So now we have this. We just need to lower the opacity. I'll do to like 30%. And then we can just attach it to this. So now when we turn this on, it says Beast Brains Beauty, but you can't really see it here. And I think that looks super cool. So that's sort of one effect thing that we created that looks pretty awesome. So one thing we can do too, we might be able to take her name like this. So I really like this sort of multiplied text on top of each other to show you how colors interact and stuff like that. And that's sort of what we're doing to an aspect. But it'd be cool if we maybe took Ilona's name and had it go across the back and go on top of that. So we do Ilona Maher, and then we make this a lot larger. And I'll probably use a different font, but I just want to see what this looks like. Oop, there we go. And then we just try and really heavily use these colors. So this says Ilona Maher, but if I set this to multiply, you can see the brains and beauty behind it, which is kind of fun. But I don't want that to be so obvious. Let me delete that. So let's take a look at some of this stuff up here. One thing I want to do is actually want to edit these photos a little bit more. So I didn't use let me just reveal all. So what I've been using is these plugins, these Knit Collection. I've been using this HDR effect preset, which I like. So I'm going to open that up. I don't want to show this again, and I'll install later. I keep changing this. I think I downloaded this because Matt Lang uses it, and I like some effects he gets. So this is just the deep default. So if I turn this off, that can't be before and after. Yeah, okay, that's before and after. Okay. Let me go back to the plugin. I got it on Black Friday because it was a good deal, and it's not a yearly subscription. You buy it once, which is nice. Okay, so this is what the photo looks like with like nothing applied to it, which I don't believe. And then this is deep, so it's going to look more like this. And I'm not going to change anything. I might add a little bit more structure to it, and I'm just going to hit apply. So it adds the HDR sort of texturing to it. It adds some contrast, which is nice. And then, whoops. I can just turn that into a smart object and then give it the same clip. Then when I save it and go back, it's still going to be broken because I need to move her over. I need to match her back up where the clip is here. Oh, it's so broken. Is it not here? Oh, it's right. Oh, I guess I can do this. Okay, let me zoom in. Oops. Okay, I think she's in the right spot now. But the issue is, you can see where the color change happened from where I photoshopped these out. So I'm going to go in to just below them, which is like here, and then I'm going to add an adjustment layer of selective color, and I want to affect the blues. And what I want to do is I want to make them more blue, so I'm going to remove yellow. I'm going to add blue to it, take away magenta, add in some magenta. I think the main issue is the highlights actually. So let me just grab all of these and delete them, and then I guess I really didn't do anything. What is this? Oh, it's this here. I need to duplicate this and just set it to color. Maybe that will fix things. What if I paste these here? Or here? Or up here? It's weird. Okay, we'll just redo them. What else is up here? What are these layers? Oh, these are just layers to create the generative fills. Okay, so I need to gen fill these back in. Oh, one of these isn't. Oh, that's on top of that. Okay, I'm gonna delete all these. Okay, so what we do is just grab our polygonal marquee tool because it doesn't really matter. This is actually really bad. Let me add this back in. There we go. And then go like this. Oops. The whole thing I'm trying to do whenever I design something is I have the issue of trying to reinvent the wheel on a lot of stuff. Which is just trying to have one or two sort of tasks or goals for what I'm working on. So for today, it's do something with that reveal. How can we play with that? And we already did that, which is good. So I'm gonna make a new layer real quick. And, you know, it's kind of pointless for me to get rid of the logos now because this isn't getting made, but it's just good practice to, if you do something the right way when you're ready to have something ready to go, you know, theoretically, all I would have to do is buy these images. And then I'm already using them, so I can just swap them in really easily. And since this is all non-destructive, I can actually just go back into this final image, drop in the approved or high resolution photo I would download, and then be good to go. Okay, so we edited this photo. So this photo looks a lot better than what it looked like before. So we've got Ilona Maher here. So the question is, how do we want this set up? Let's apply that same effect to this. So I'm gonna duplicate this, delete the layer mask, because you shouldn't have the layer mask when you use the plugin, because it looks at whites and it looks at blacks. And if it looks at whites and blacks and it has a big white background, it's gonna just not work. So I'm just gonna open that up. I want to see what deep looks like. I don't want that, I just want it like this. See, it's a little blown out. So I can go down here and drop the highlights down, but just hit apply. And then that's gonna take a hot second. And then we can just clip it, hide these, save, and go here. So this to me is very, very blown out. I'm gonna get rid of these high pass filters to make it less crunchy. And then in camera raw here, I can go to my light and I can really down the highlights. And the yellows are a little blown out too, and some of these aren't gonna do anything. But I'll hit save and go back and we'll see what this looks like. And what we can do too is we can apply some effects to her too to make her red, white, and blue. Like, I like the idea of having this blue on here if we're doing super blue, super red, super cyan sort of thing. So we can add the same thing here to Ilona. It's just, which photos do we want to use? I really like this photo. I want to figure out how to use it, but I want it to be like the dominating presence of what's going on. But I can't because it's a really tall photo. So I got to figure out how I want to incorporate that. And I really want to just lock my view, which would be interesting if they did. I'm going to quickly tweet at someone that works at Adobe and say, hey, you know what would be helpful? If you guys did this. So let me do that real quick. Let me do this. Hey, at Pinsky, you guys should add a feature that locks the view percentage or locks the screen so you can't move it. So if someone is streaming, they can ensure that their artboard is always in view and where they want it. Does this exist? I always love how it changes artboard to dartboard and just doesn't make any sense. Let me just hide all this stuff. We'll see what he says. Okay, so I think we're going to steal, you know, the blue here. We're going to add that to this. Probably not going to steal a lot from this because we're going sort of more... When I'm thinking about this, we're doing this to be a really heavily textured graphic. It's not cinematic. It's not a hero poster. It's something more like this Tyson Beck card where there's a lot of textures going on and it's a lot more grit or stuff like this. I really like just this shadow on here. Looks really sweet. So how can we incorporate some of this stuff and just editing styles in here? I really like what ARM does. I'm pretty sure ARM made these with all of these effects. And I downloaded some stuff we can use. So I downloaded some like anime explosions. And the reason I did that is because we can use them in Photoshop. We just use a single frame of them. So let me see if I can find one. Ooh, some of these are After Effects. But what I want is I want stuff like this, where it's just... So things like this, where it's just on black. So like I can take this thing that this right here. I can say, hey, let's hop this into Photoshop and open it. And it's not showing me anything because it's a video. So if we can open up our timeline, which randomly is over here. So we have our timeline. So I can go like this and drag it along and say, okay, I want just this effect. Well, if I make a new layer and copy it, turn it to a smart object, I can go back here and paste it. And then we have that as an effect. So then maybe I give this just a color overlay of cyan. And then we have this sort of cyan in the background sort of thing. Which might be cool for what we want if we want to use something like that. I don't know how many sort of anime-esque effects we're going to use for this, but that's always an option. If you see a cool effect that's a video effect, you can use it. Just find a single frame that you can use. Okay, so let's give Ilona that sort of effect where she has the blue on her. And we'll see how we like it. So under that would be an adjustment, and that's going to be a gradient map that we attach to that. So we want to attach that just to her, and then we can open up this and change this color to be 100% cyan. And it'll look like that, which looks terrible, but we can fix it. I guess we didn't need to make it a gradient map, actually. Let me do this actually, I think, the right way. So we can just add a solid color of cyan. Like this. Attach it to her. And then we just change the blend if. So if the underlying layer is anything but pretty much pure white, we go like this. Now this works really well here because he has darker skin and it's just on the highlights. But since Ilona has a lot of lighter tones in her face, it might not work as well. Which is where gradient map could come in. So maybe we don't steal that because it looks bad. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to add, to start off, this gradient map on top of this. And there's a gradient map I like to use. That's not the right button. I don't want this open. Let me close this tab group. This is what I want. Okay. So the gradient map we're going to add is just going to be black and white. But down here, it's going to be a little bit darker, and then we drag this over just a little bit and we set this to luminosity. That's just going to give it a little bit more of a printed look like this, so it fades it out a little bit. I just like the effect. Let me delete some of these layers up here and see what's going on. Let me put Twitter over here so we can see if he replies. I just think that would be a really cool thing to implement, is if I can make sure that this is at this size and right here, so we're working and you guys can see it. Or if there's like a view screen, because I can always go up here and put the navigator somewhere for you guys to see it, but it's just nice to see on here. Okay, so you see these don't match at all. So that's awful. So that's what I kind of want to tweak. I think something in here really blew things out. And she looks super weird because these guys up here aren't included in this. So I can turn these on and paste them in place. So let's just put these where they're supposed to go. About there. How busted is this gonna look? Oh, it looks so busted. It's so grainy because it's grain on top of grain. So we don't want to do that. What if I turn these off? So I do these effects on everything. I have sort of this same action I use. It edits the photos the exact same, which I like. I'm just not going to use this photo. I mean, we're going to use this photo because I like it better. So we're going to save this because I haven't saved this at all. We're going to just save this to Ilona. Okay. Ilona. What I want to do too is I actually want to steal her autograph. So we're going to steal her autograph, and this is the exact size it should be. So we'll just go in here, draw a little marquee tool around here, and then we can always use a levels layer to get rid of some of it. And she used a really nice marker on this, actually. Some of these markers are kind of cruddy that they use. We'll just convert this to a smart object. I'll just delete this and paste it, and then just make it a little bit bigger. So here's this. We're going to put it on top. I'm going to drag it down below some stuff, but we can see it here. I just want to go to adjustments and go to levels, drop it on top of that, and drag this over a little bit so it gets rid of the background. And we'll convert this to a smart object, and we can set it to multiply. Now it is actually an autograph signature. We'll put that up here. This group does not need to be red. I think that's messing some things up. Okay. So if we have this in the background, we could actually do cool stuff all over the background to sort of hide the texture. But I think what I want to do is I want to have some sort of... I need to move this mic. Hold on. Move this mic so I can see my layers panel. I guess so. Okay, so I want to figure out a place for this autograph to go. So the autograph disappeared because it's gone. Where did I put the autograph? Did I delete the autograph? No, it's right here. Okay, let me drop it down here. Let me hide Ilona. Ilona. Okay. Make her autograph this big. So my thought process right now is, what can we add down here to have a spot for her autograph? So instead of just doing, so really we're going to have a white spot down here. I'm going to say a white spot down here for her autograph. So how can we implement that in a way where it's not just a rectangle? Because I can just do this and then put her autograph on top of autograph. Put her autograph on top of this, but that's not fun. That's not cool at all. It looks super lame. So what can we use? So I could probably take this shape we have here, set it to normal. So this is just the shape of the, what are we calling it? Shield. Badge. That's the word. Whoop. Actually, I tugged on my cord. Sorry for the probably really loud thud. We're going to drop this below the bleed because we want everything below that. So something like this, I think, just something simple like this looks better. And then we're still playing into everything. Now, do we want this to be the same color as the background, though? Do we not? Do we want it split up? So it's obviously split up. And we can move these around. Oops. We can move this around to be wherever we want. So if we want to make it smaller, if we want it to be, you know, coming off the sides or something, we can do that. But I like for the autograph, let's put the autograph above this. We need a nice big spot for her name to go. So I think Ilona Maher would look good there. And then underneath it, we have her coming up behind it. And you know what? She doesn't have to be giant on the card. That's the thing too, is she's allowed to be sort of small on it. Or maybe we do something like Tyson Beck did with his Cam Brink cards, where the autograph goes sideways. So it's not like a horizontal card, but it's a horizontal autograph. I'll show you what I'll try and show you what I'm talking about. No thanks. I don't want Steph Curry cards. Let me go to all products. Hold on. Oh, he might have taken them down. Brink. Okay, here we go. So one of these I thought he had sort of a horizontal. Yeah, so this intentionally signed on the side, but it's up like this. So I think that might be something we do here. So we can have this tall photo, have her coming up the whole side of this, like this, and I want her to be on the bleed. The issue is I want her hands to be in here. So there's a lot to figure out in terms of how the composition needs to be done. Symmetry, playing with the background and stuff like that. So I'm going to make our cool badge thing. I'm going to group this together. Badge reveal thing. We're just going to make this smaller. And if we have everything over here on this side, maybe we don't make it smaller, but we make it larger, but we have it coming off of the side. I don't think it's lined up all the way, which it's not. There we go. So it's like this. And let me lock this back in, save, go back out. So we have the badge coming from the side now. Kind of like this. And we might cover up a lot of it, but it'll be a thing of when you actually look at it, it'll say Beast, Beauty, and Brains. But I actually want it to be at an angle, because angles are cooler than not angles. Okay, so we can't see it, which is fine. For autograph, we're going to take, and we're going to have it go sideways. Like this. So we can put some stuff up here, we can put some stuff down here, and we can frame this in. So let me get rid of this. So let me figure out, and this is where I need to start just completely ignoring that I'm making this a sports card and just make something that looks really cool. So let's take a look at some of our inspiration of what we can do. I like this, the Brooklyn Nets, this sort of drawn idea. A lot of these, though, have a really specific photo of like a headshot or something that frames in nicely, or multiple images. This is the only one that has like a very tall image. It's a full image because he's throwing a ball. We could do something similar to this. We've got Ilona in the middle. Yeah, here's the thing. I love symmetry. I'm a big fan of symmetry. I get sort of caught up a lot on asymmetrical things. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to duplicate this. We're going to put it up here. We're going to have Ilona be in. We're going to have her come out of this shape. I think that'll be a good starting point, because it'll allow us to have her, you know, full body on here, or full body of her cheering, or, you know, giving number ones. Let me just find just a solid brush, actually, like this, and get her pony in there. This looks better already. And I think what we're going to do is we can blow this up a little bit more. So she's straight up like that. And then when we turn, this is our badge reveal thing. So if we grab these, and why is it grabbing? What is it grabbing? Let me just do this and set this to multiply. Okay, so I can make these a little bit larger. Ugh, except if I make it larger, it does that. So I don't want to make it larger. What I technically want to do is I want to grab it from Illustrator. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to open up Illustrator. This is Illustrator. That was weird. Okay, so we have this shape. So we have Ilona coming out of this, but I want other stuff going out. We're going to mimic the sort of circle pattern that USC used. So I'm going to go to Object Path, and we're going to offset this path. Let's do 1.5. Oh, 0.15? Just going to hit OK. Object. We do the same thing. I think I can hit a hotkey. Yeah, I made a hotkey for this once. Makes it a lot easier. Okay, so we can copy this, and then we can use this now as our shape. So we paste this as a smart object, and we make it fill up the whole composition like this. New smart object via copy, open it up, and then we delete everything but this first one. So we can copy the first one, delete everything, paste it in place, save, and go back. And then when we give this a color overlay of, say, blue, this is what we're working with now. And we can make the whole thing actually just a little bit smaller to sort of match where we're at, like that. And then maybe we move everything down just a little bit. We'll figure out what to do at the bottom there. We can always just make it a background and make it perfectly fine. If we add a border to this, what does that look like? So the hollow border I'm going to put like here. So if we give it a border of something, that's where it's going to be. So we're going to be cognizant of where that is. And we're going to move this down just a little bit. So like that. I don't like that. I think I just want her to be just down a little bit. We'll go with that. Okay. So she's inside all of this frame, which is nice. So I can highlight this. We'll delete this just so it's exactly the same. What is happening? Oh, I'm deleting this gradient map. Why? Why are you deleting the gradient map? I want to delete this. Okay. So we've got that there. So now this one, we can basically make a new smart object via copy a bunch of times. Go in here, delete the first one because we don't want that. We want the second one only, save, and go over here. And I'm just going to give these color overlays so we can see what they look like. But those are not lined up. Why are they not lined up? It should be more like that. We'll take this one, delete this, grab this, paste, save. I guess I can make this a different color here. We can figure out what we want to do with it. So then it looks like that. Grab this one, delete the 1, 2, 3 layers, grab this one, delete, paste in place, change the color. Bear with me while I do this. We can see how we're making sort of a stacking effect that gets progressively larger. New smart object via copy, go here. Delete, 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 delete. Grab this. Sounded like Porky Pig there. Delete, 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 delete. That's all, folks. Okay, and then maybe we do one more. Well, this one could be whatever. And then we have our background frame. And the hollow border, I'm going to give a color overlay of this color. So it looks like that. This is what we're cooking with. Except I do need to do one more, don't I? Or maybe we do 1, 2, 3, and then it's just nothing beyond it. So maybe it's just that sort of thing. But the whole point of what we're doing with this is I can take this and then put the badge reveal thing right here. Let's hide these for now. I want it to be this. Oh, that is what this is. I just need to undo this. And then undo, just do this. And just go like that. Well, I accidentally quit out of the card, so here it is. Don't do that. Okay, everything's good except the color overlay for this needs to be white. And I just need to move this over and move this over. Let me hide this so we can see what's going on. Just make this larger, like that. Okay, so now it says Beast Brains Beauty Beast brains that we can see if we have this going on. So that's what we want. The Ilona here, we can figure out what we want behind this. I think what I want is probably some stars. So I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to just add custom shape. Oh, they have custom shapes in here now. See, they used to have, the funny is they used to have custom shapes of like stars. But I guess I just want a 5-sided polygon. That is a star shape. We can go to the settings here and hit star ratio 50%. And it's going to give you a perfect star. Like that. So maybe we have a star in here somewhere too, behind her. But everything isn't white. We don't use white. We just need to say we don't use white. We use this color here. But I think what I want to do is... What's up, Graphic Dan? It only took 50 minutes for someone to say something in chat. We're killing it. I'm going to find an image of an American flag. So I'm going to go to Envato. Find an American flag. And we're just going to color it however I want. I just want something more dynamic than flat looking stars. They're going to just be more dynamic. And I want something that can go in that shield shape but have some character to it. So I want something similar to this, but I want it to take up the whole space. I want similar photos to this. Shouldn't be taking that long. Let me just go to American flag, actually. There's 7 million photos similar to American flag. That's the issue. Bull. So I just want to grab a full American flag. I don't need any people in it, so I can say no people. This will give me more of what I want. I kind of want this, but I want the stars to look better. The funny thing is, I know what I'm looking for. I know what I want, and I know what it'll be when I see it. Because it needs to not be at an angle. It needs to be straight on, kind of like this, but better. It'd be funny if ChatGPT could generate what I want based on what I said, but we're not going to try it out. I kind of want this. We're just going to download this, and we'll just... We'll download this, and we'll use this. Okay, so... Go to my downloads, grab the American flag, and go like this. We get rid of the color overlay now. We can just sort of blow this up. Actually, the color overlay I want on there. Turn this into a smart object. We go like this. Okay, I only want the white. So I'm going to say current layer, anything that's dark, we get rid of. And then we turn this to a smart object, and then we give it a color overlay of our background color. Like that. This is what I wanted. I wanted this effect. So we can take some of these, and we can give these color overlays, and we can make these a little bit more interesting. These aren't going to be just straight colors, because I really like, you know, this is actually just the same thing rotated, but there's stuff going on. So it's what can we put in here to make this look interesting. And I think one thing we could do is let's grab just some rectangles. I'm gonna grab some rectangles. I'm gonna make them white, even though I said we're not gonna do white, but I'll tell you why. Oops. That is not snapping. Okay, so this one's going to be red. This is just so I can see what we're doing. Snap. Nope. Snap to the edge. Snap to the edge. Just snap to the edge. Snap to the edge. That's 5, 6, sick. That's so stupid. It's trying to make it the same distance, but it's not doing what I want. Okay, so we've got these here. I just actually want the white ones. I just want them to be spaced out the same, which they are. So I can go like this a little bit. Oh no, I want it to be like this. I gotta fix this down here at the bottom because it's not the same. I'll do that now. There we go. That's better. So I think I want these to be a little bit closer to each other. So we're going to make them a little bit closer to each other. I'm going to turn these to a smart object. We're going to put them in here. So we have some stripes going in here. But I want the stripes to look cooler than this. So we're going to warp it. So we're going to go to edit or image. No, edit. Yeah, edit, transform, warp. And what would look cool for this to warp? We're going to go to... oh, we're in warp. We go to warp and we custom and we do flag. So it'll warp them as I flag. It's obviously going to do it. It's always going to do way too much. But we can do like 25 and 25. And then just kind of rotate them a little bit. Maybe make it a little bit larger. And just play around until it looks nice to us. You know, kind of like that. And then maybe we just take that and we group it together and we... I don't think I want to do that. We invert it and then hide this. That's what I wanted it to do. I just need to apply it to this as well. And then hide this. Now we have this background that's working. We've got Ilona Maher on here. We've got some stars and stripes. We still have the effect, though, where it says Beast Beauty Brains, which is what we want. One thing we can do, though, is we can take the Beast Beauty Brains. We can make this, I don't know, much larger. Oh, why does that happen? Oh, it's because I filled it in. Okay. I'm going to make this huge because I think I want the Beast Beauty Brains to be smaller. So in order to make it smaller, I need to make this smart object bigger so I can make it smaller. So I'm just making this huge. We're going to just make a new layer. Right click. Why can't I fill? I don't like that. Should be able to just hit fill. Transform. Not transform. Fill. Edit fill. It's just right there. Edit fill. We do the same thing. Comes over here. Looks like that. We can scale it down a little bit. So maybe we scale it down a little bit. We keep everything the same. We hit OK. We get rid of this. We save this. Go back. Save this. Go back. And it does, it did make them smaller. I just have to go like that. But I should be able to make this much smaller now. Yeah, I can make it a lot smaller, but we can still read it. I want it so when you actually hover over it, you can read that it says Beast, Brains, and Beauty. But again, it's only something that you can see if you hover over it. So we should add that somewhere else too, because I think it's really cool. I like how this is looking. This is kind of looking how I want in terms of vibes, which is good. So we've got Ilona. We've got... I'm gonna group these together. I'm gonna group these together. So we do top badge. Name this mystery badge. And then I think I do this. Does that work? Yeah. So I can turn this on and off. Reveal test. And honestly, I don't know if this is going to work if you print, because I think it has to be like 100% red. But it would be cool if it worked, because that's the whole point of what we're doing. So then behind that, and the issue is I don't want this to be seen through. So what I need to do is I need to grab this and do that. Okay. So maybe we add... What can we add? We have got stars and stripes. What does the Trojan takeover do? Let's just look at Pinterest and see what the full size of this looks like. I like this too. Multiply it on top of some colors or stars to add a little bit of depth. But if we want to keep sort of the same colors, we need to keep some of the same colors. So let me go to my Pinterest board. I'm pulling it up here. I'll move it over in a sec. View board. Here we go. All right, so what is that actually made of? It's like a helmet. Is it the photo on top? What is, I mean, it's a lot of stuff that has a lot of texture to it. Some dots. But it's just like this right here. So maybe that's where we use this other photo of her. Like this. Let's do this. Let's see if I can get this to work. So I have a engraving thing. Oh, okay. So I hit a button and then it worked. Let me just hit OK on that and then hit OK. I'm just hitting buttons. And this is this sort of engraving thing. So can I hit apply this effect? Oh, okay. So this is how this works. I can apply different effects to this depending on how the style looks. So if I want to do this style, it changes to this. Now the thing is, I don't like... Oh, that's kind of crazy seeing what this does. I want the scale to be less. So I can just change the scale to be like 35 and it's going to make it, yeah, see 25. It's going to make it a lot better. But I want style 6, I think. No, I want style 5. Yeah, I want dots. And the dots are just a pattern on top. So I changed the scale to be 15% and that's good. But this looks awful. Which I don't want. So let me see if I can like cheese this to look how I want. This is kind of how I want it to look. Ilona Maher, I barely know her. Yeah, if it was Maher, I barely know her. That would make a lot more sense. Let me give this a solid color of white. Put it below it and save. See, they like blur it out and do all this stuff on it, but I think it looks bad. So if I don't do that, it's just making it super gritty, which is kind of the point. But I can go in here, and maybe just in this camera raw, I just go to detail, and I just really bump up the color noise stuff. This is a engraving filter I got on Envato. And I guess part of what it does is... Did I lose it forever? No, is it does this to the subject. I don't know why. I guess it smooths things out. I don't even know how you get to that effect. But I can do that here. Let me just change the noise reduction. Can I do that in 2 different spots? I guess I can go to the effects and turn down the texture and then hit OK. So like that looks better. So then if we save that and go back. So now it's somewhat gritty. And then I think we just change some of these. Oh man. I really broke something in here. Let's turn all these off. Let me just drag these smart filters up again and go like this. Sorry, let me clear the smart filters and go like this. And this is the pattern fill. It's usually set to 100, which looks like that, which is bad. I think because I don't have a good photo. So really it's the levels or shadows and highlights. The highlights, I don't... Okay, I increase the highlights. And then the levels, or I guess I can go to black and white and then decrease the yellows a little bit. Yeah, that'll add in a little bit more stuff. That's better. Okay, so this is just... Oh, I have to save this now to something? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's go back here. I was just going to replace this contents with this studio thing. So now we just have this really gritty photo of her, but we can put that in here essentially as a textural element. You know, kind of like this. Maybe we duplicate it and then flip it around. How's Poland going, Chris? You guys doing better after a contentious... How are things going since that election that happened? Chris and I love to talk about Polish politics. Not really. So we can have these here. So these are just, it's a nice texture that's on it, which is cool. We can go into this though. And I can just add on top of this a solid color. So if we want to add another color to this, we can. What happens if we go 100, 0, 0, and we set this to screen? Yes, the United States is way more interesting. That is without a doubt probably facts. Okay, let's make this a nice navy blue. I think this color stinks. I think we need to make this super dark. We need to make it navy. I think that's navy enough. I don't like how it's cut off there, but that's because we have the border. So if we get rid of the border, this is what the card's looking like. But I think the border is there for a reason, because we want the background to be filled with something. I need to put all of these into a group together. Go like this and then invert it. Ooh. Oh, I need this in there too. Okay. I was like, why did that not work? Okay. Save. Okay. So did I multiply this one on top? Because I don't want to multiply it. I want it to be normal. I think what I need to do is just go in and use our good friend current layer, boop, and get rid of it like that. And do the same thing here. And then turn this on. And it looks like that. Okay. So there's a lot of textures going on. We're just, right now, we're sort of setting up a background. I think what we can do is we can actually copy this. Do you want to copy the whole thing? And sort of put it here. And then delete this layer mask. But then we need to set this. I guess I can just make this white. Like that. And then do we have the no, we don't want these to come through. We want to delete this layer. We really just want this to fill up with some sort of texture. I don't think we want it to be the same texture. This is just a fun little experiment we're doing, essentially. So I have these other halftones. Let's use this one. And just kind of go like this. This card is going to look insane. And I don't know if it's a good insane or a bad insane. But if we just drop this off and go like this, then you can see where it says Brandon Braun. I just need to set this to multiply, and then it will go away. You know, having more solid red on here actually would look pretty good. Maybe we just add a solid color. Or maybe we duplicate this and just flip it around. I don't know, I just really liked how that looked. Let me just add a solid color of red. So maybe we do that and just make this red. I think that might look cool. I do like how this looks. This is a fun little graphic. Again, I don't know where she's going to sign it. Again, we can add this down here back at the bottom. Maybe we go like this. Just have this sort of crown sort of shape. And then she's coming out of it. I think it looks nice. So we got the mystery badge, we got the top badge, we got everything else, right? That's what these are in the reveal test. Okay, so we can just make all of this 95%. 90%. 90%. And then we'll just budge it up a little bit like this. I think that's pretty decent. Let's just make this. This isn't a shape, which is my mistake, so we'll give this a color overlay of the background color. Okay, we'll save that. Looking at it here on my screen so I can see everything. It's interesting. It's something. There's something a little off about it. And I think I need to move these down just a little bit. Oh, but what did that mess up? Did that mess this up? What? No. What is this? Oh, let me just delete that. Oh, okay. That's better. Okay. Okay, there's a lot of room down here, which is good. So we've got our autograph, so we'll put that just down here at the bottom. We haven't even talked about or even thought about how we can add holographics to this. But we don't have a lot of heavy holographics because we're going with sort of this effect where stuff is printed on top of each other. But we can do both. All right, let's look for some stuff to think about in here. We can do something like this. I do like what Tyson did here with the background. It sort of just reversed what was going on and inverted it. We don't have a lot of overlap because I don't have these turned on. So we don't have like something like this to like cause a lot of chaos on the outside. But if I make this the same color as the background, that's interesting. I don't think it's interesting enough. I think it might be interesting if we use this offset path and we go in though negative 0.075 inches, which is going to just trim it down a little bit. And it's just going to make this... Wow, did I make that really small? It should have only made it a little bit smaller. Okay, let's try that again. Object, path, offset path. Yeah, that. What is going on? Okay, I made them larger, so it's being really deceptive. So I think I need to take this. I need to offset the path like... It just changes every single time. I think I know why. Yeah, there you go. So when you open up a vector smart object in Illustrator, it just does it based on whatever item you have named vector smart object. So it was updating all of the vector smart objects I have open. I've got a bunch. So I like this because the whole point of what I wanted to do here then was take this, go to my border up here, turn this into a smart object, and then attach this to that, but then change the color overlay to something in here like that. And then it does that. Which is kind of okay, but nothing else is doing that. So do we want to make everything a little bit larger so it does bleed on top of that? Like that. So it's a little more across the board all over the place, which gives a little bit more character to the border. And on the border, do we add in another one of these details? Like, do I add the stars we have for this top badge? I should consider snow sports athletes now. A lot of X Game athletes have huge followings, but they don't have the high potential. They're also younger, might be more flexible with the money. Tim, you know what I thought, honestly, over the weekend? Was that I should message Chloe Kim and see what Chloe Kim's up to, because she's on social a lot. She gets it. She's a young star. I mean, I made graphics of her 7 years ago during the Olympics. If she's going to be doing the Olympics in 1, 2, 3 years, that would be great. She's also dating Myles Garrett, so then we can make Myles Garrett cards. But she's a cool personality that I think would do well with sports cards. So I think that's a good idea. I just need to figure out the right names. And when I look up and choose people to do, a lot of it has to do with, do they have a card market? So, oh man, why is this internet struggling? I mean, I'm streaming, that's obviously the answer, but this website's taking forever. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So I usually go to a website called 130 Point. And the website actually might just be down. Oh yeah, it's the website that's being buggy. I'm just going to eBay. Yeah, so eBay loads. Good. Okay, so I'm going to look up... So I looked up Ilona Maher autographs. Sammy Carlson. Okay, I'll look up Sammy. So Ilona, this is the graphic. This is the one I downloaded. But if I go to sold... Here's my idea. So I think, like, for fans, a $50 card is something that's feasible. So her cards are selling for, and these are numbered to 369. This sold last week, $90, $50, $55. It's a PSA 9, $50, $50, $50, $50. So Ilona Maher makes sense, $40, $50, maybe higher depending on what they are. They're going to be, these are unlicensed because, I mean, they're licensed to Team USA, so I don't know about the logos on the jerseys or anything. So let me look up Chloe Kim Auto, because she's got cards too. Like this sold for $34, unnumbered it seems. $30, $80, a little nicer. 202 because it has a patch, which is kind of fun. So her, I would be a little bit sort of cautious because they're not crazy high, but doable. And a lot of it could be because just how they look. So I'm gonna look up Sammy Carlson while we're here, and then we'll get back to the graphic. Sammy Carlson has no autographs. See, he has no autographs. So, like, that's, like you said, having no autographs bodes well for me. Okay, so on this top file, this here, what I want to do, I think, is... I want to paint some of this on top, but I want to grab one of these like random half-point textures and kind of do this to add a little bit of grit. And maybe we do this opposite for the one behind it. So what is the one behind it? Is that this? No, where is it? It's above this. Oh, it's right here. Turn this to a smart object. Layer on top of here. So this is basically, hey, Brad found a bunch of textures and he wants to try them out and see how they look on stuff. And that looks really bad. This would actually be a good texture for the hidden stuff on here, which is cool. So right now we have this filled in, but is this being filled in any different than this? Like, is this just too much texture to look at? I think it might be just too much texture to look at. Let me hit save. I like how this looks, though. I think I might... I kind of want to make everything fit into this and not have this stuff on the side. So let me look and see how that's going to look. I just like borders. I just like things to be nicely fit into things. So let me just see if we can do that. I want to move the autograph thing too. This and that. Okay, so let's make everything 90%. No, I don't like that. I think I'm just Making it a little bit smart. Bradley speaks in support of secure borders. Yeah, clip that. I'm not internet famous, so no one's gonna care. You're gonna catch me saying stupid stuff on a Jubilee video and then getting fired. Okay, I like how this looks. And I like how this is where this is at, because I can take my logos here and I can pop these up top. And then I have the debut tag on here, but this isn't really her debut because she's not like a rookie. This would just be like a cool card. So I'm going to just add a color overlay to make this white and hide this. So we've got this here. We can put something up here. I don't know what that would be, but we have the option of putting something there. Maybe we have an effect in the background that adds to it. So let's add a couple things to this. So we're going to have this say, we need her name on here. Ilona Maher. I think we should lean into a sort of money looking font. So what's it good? Is Lust on here? Do we have Lust? Lust is not. So you guys have a good font that looks like money? Whatever the font on money is. Fonts.adobe.com. There's one I'm thinking of. I just can't think of what it is. So if you guys want to shout out a font that looks like what's on money, let me know. What is it? Banknote or something like that? Bank? No, that's Bank Gothic. There's one I can like see, but I don't remember what it's called. So we'll just go here. Ilona Maher. Elon. Oh god. Why is my I type in Ilona Maher, autocorrects to Elon Musk, and then just chaos ensues. Okay, so I want it to be luxury. And I guess I want it to be wide. And I guess I want it to have a good amount of contrast. Chevalier. I just wanted to see if I had it. There's one I'm thinking of. I just can't think of what it's called. Roselia. This is good. Do they have one that's filled into this? Oh, it's definitely Roselia. Yeah, this is what This is great. So we don't have black anywhere on this, but I think this is where we put black on here. Or we don't do black, do we do red? Yeah, I think we do red. We'll put this down just below her autograph. And what if this is actually below everything else? Is that going to look bad? Red background. I gotta do that. Okay, that's fine. I think I can make her a little bit smaller now. And we really badge it up, kind of like this. Just need to optically center this, make it a little bit larger. Kind of like that. And then this is where her autograph is. Let me put her name in there. Name and auto. I don't think I want it behind. I kind of want it below this, but on top. So it kind of needs to go like here. Kind of like that is how I want it. But if I do that, I can probably make it a little bit bigger. Don't you just love thinking out loud? Ooh, I did not grab the top badge. I was going to say something didn't seem right. Something kind of like that. Now, the mystery badge, we need to add... Not the mystery badge. This? Oh, I guess I just need to duplicate this and then just delete this layer mask. Yeah. And then just set the color overlay to this background color. Yeah, that's what I want. I want it to look like that. Okay, so we got a lot going on. We got her name here. Her name and autograph is not aligned. So I need it to align like that. The whole reason we do that is to take this and then give this a drop shadow. And what kind of drop shadow do we want to give this? Do we want to give this like a dark red drop shadow or probably a dark blue drop shadow? Kind of like that. 75. 10 and 5 is fine. And I kind of want to do that for a lot of things. So I want to give the same drop shadow to this and the same drop shadow to this. We start to give a little bit more depth to some things, but it might also make things look bad. Okay, here's what we're going to do with this. This is going to be, I think, kind of nice. New smart object to your copy. Oh. This is, okay, because I copied it over. So we're going to do the same thing here with the path offset stroke, or offset path. We're going to offset it like, and I don't like this is set to inches. But I'm going to do like 1 point, -1 point. Save. Save. And then this should be on top without the color. Something didn't save. Let me get rid of the color overlay. Okay, let's try that again. Let me delete, let me do this. So this actually opens things up correctly. Okay, object, path, offset path, 1 point. Save. Go back here, save. Uh-oh. Go here. Okay, so now it looks like that. That's what I wanted, because I want this set to multiply. I just want to give this an inner shadow. Or do I want an inner glow? I think I want an inner glow, actually. Because I want the inner glow to be... I guess really, really dark. Oh, it's set to screen. I'm like, I can't see anything. So it looks like this. So just going to give it a little bit more... sort of texture going on. And that's what you'll see on a lot of sports cards. Let me see if I have one just sitting around here. Just have like random shadows. They do it on select all the time. I don't think I have a select card lying around here. Not that you guys are going to be able to see it because my screen's going to blow it out too much. Whatever, it's fine. But that just adds a little bit of texture to it. And maybe we can make the inside of this, we make this normal and we make it white. So it actually has a little bit of white on this. So we make it white, but then do we, do we duplicate this or something? So her name is down here in such a way. I think we do that. Get rid of the inner glow. I'm going to bump this up. I'm trying to think of what I'm doing here. I basically just want this. I want this to go away. And I just want this. Okay. Delete this. I'm going to paste this here. Put this into a group and attach this to that, but then give this a color overlay of, I don't know, cyan. Where is this? Oh, it's super tiny. And put this like right here. And then kind of go like that. I mean, that looks exactly like how I want, but the vector file looks stupid because nothing is attached. So we'll just join those, and then we'll just kind of I guess I should make this easy to change. So we'll go like that. And then save it. There. So we can put this down here. So it's kind of a really specific shape. And I know what I want to do now. I just can't do it, can I? Yes. Okay, so I need to edit this. Okay, here's what I need to do. I need to delete this. And I need to delete this. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So we just put this here. So it's in this nice little spot. But we tweak it just a little bit because it juts out accidentally. And then we grab a tool like that, and we just grab the pen tool in Illustrator, the only place you should use the pen tool. And we just kind of go like that. So now we have this nice little pocket for her signature to go in. Do we want it to go the other way? Let me get rid of some of these. Or maybe we do just want it to be flat. There, so now it says Ilona Maher there. We've got her name here. Maybe we make this the navy blue so it shows up a little bit better. I don't like how this looks. I don't know if it's just that the inner glows too much. Maybe this needs to be like 15 and like 50. Kind of like that. Or it's just something down here just doesn't, it's just not sitting right with me. I think this needs to go down a little bit more, up and over or something like that. I'm just gonna write rugby underneath this, and then I'm just gonna find a wide. I'm gonna find the Beechwood font we're using. If you don't, you should look at Adobe fonts every once in a while just to see what new fonts they have. Like this is a really nice font that I'm using on every single thing I make now, just because it's great. That says rugby. Okay, so I'm looking at this. We just look at this right now from afar. It's really bugging me at the bottom there that's super flat. So how can I fix that? The top part's fine. I think we need a little bit of a shadow behind Ilona. And then really we just got to figure out what we want to put in the background. How we make the red in the background a little bit more interesting than it is now. I was going to make a name for this card. I think what we do is we add in something that very explicitly states what we have hidden here. The hidden beast brains in beauty. We put that somewhere like around her to make it more obvious. So let me go and let's edit this a little bit more. I want to extend this line down, line extension to there. And then put that there, and then I can take this and I can line extend to there. Save. Save. Go here. Oops. No, I don't want that. I want this. There's so many vector smart objects. Hey, I grabbed the right one. And her name doesn't actually have to be that big. We can make this a lot smaller. This is her autograph. Great. Okay. Oh, I know one thing we could do, make sure I don't blow things up, is what they do on select cards actually is they add a bit of a marble texture. Just a little bit something to texturize it. So we can add our own texture to this. So let me do that. You know, we can add like this to that and just make it like super subtle. You know, kind of like that. So it adds something to it. Maybe we make it the cyan so you can't like see it at all. We have cyan hidden there, so maybe we just have cyan in here. But I kind of want it to be like these lines look really nice. So maybe we just do like a little line pattern. And maybe we have that inside. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to make a new... I'm going to do this. So I'm just going to draw a line at a 45-degree angle. And that looks terrible because the line is thicker than... It's the thickest thing in the world. But I want it to be at this angle. Whatever this random angle is. Kind of like that. And then can I just do this? We'll just do it the not ideal way. And we'll just copy it like this. Did it skip some? Really? How rude. How rude of it to skip some. It's making me go slow. It's outrageous. I could make this into a pattern. It would be a lot easier, but I just kind of want to do this here. Could probably also just duplicate a bunch of them. And then just, yeah, just do this. And then grab all the lines. And then go like that. There we go. Okay. So we're going to group this together. And what I'm going to do is grab this, mask it to that, make that into a smart object, and then I'm going to give it a inner glow of white that comes from the center, and the opacity is 100%. Why is this not working? Is it because they're lines? Yeah. Yeah. I need to make this like this and this and this and this. I need to do this. Mask it to this. And then I give this an inner glow. But the inner glow for this is going to be set to normal and set to white. And it's going to come from the center. And 100%, so it's going to hide most of it, but we just make the size a lot more. So the lines are there, but they're only on the edge. Do we want to add a little bit of noise for fun? Yeah, let's add some noise. Let's size it down a little bit. Oh, no. We size it up, but we just choke it a little bit more. Kind of like that. I think we can add this sort of texture to the background too, which might not look bad. But it'd be interesting actually if we took that engraver and put it on everything. You know, we take that engraved tone. That's just like layer. Let me look, see how bad that would look. So I'm just gonna get rid of our bleed. And that's what this looks like. Because that's how that works. Okay, let's make a new layer, smash it together like this. Just open this up. Oh. I love when that happens. You smash it together, but then it's like, oh, you wanted it to be all of the artboards, right? So we're gonna engrave this and make it look really bad. It's crazy how much this does this. Worn effects? I mean, sure. Oh, does it actually want me to do that? For pattern, angle, and size. Oh, okay. So I do want the size to be smaller. But it does the same thing. This doesn't even say rugby anymore. It almost says something kind of suspicious. Let's copy and paste this in here. We'll add all this crap to it so it looks like that, which is what we want. We just need this to be... Yeah, it needs to just kind of look like this. Okay, so we'll save this out. Just like to 2. We'll grab this. We'll replace the contents. And then we'll replace the contents with this, and then it looks like this. Oh, because it's the whole thing. We'll put this below our bleed. Well, this is in our bleed. We'll put it below our bleed. And we just set it to luminosity, like 25%. Or like overlay, maybe. I think we set it to overlay, but we get rid of the lightness. So this layer, so it doesn't lighten a bunch of stuff up. It only darkens it, and it darkens it a little bit. Kind of like that. Like, that's kind of nice to have as a final effect at the end. So maybe we have to tweak that a little bit later. All right, so what do you guys think? We still have our reveal, so if you put a thing over it, says Beast Brains Beauty, which is great. What are we missing to this? We can hide this because we can fix it later. So I think on Ilona here, I think we need to add a gradient on top. And this isn't the way I want to do this, but this is how this is happening. Yeah, whatever. Just like a little bit of a gradient here for some shading. And then I thought I wanted to put a shadow behind her, like a drop shadow. I just don't know how bad that would look. I think we need to put the stroke around her. This is where we figure out how is this going to look on a card. But I want to add something to this background because the background is bugging me how it looks. Let me just save and take a deep breath. Did Pinsky reply to me? We got a reply from Howard. He says, I don't think it exists. Let me check and pass this to the team for you. See, you just got to have... You got to have your Adobe plugs. And then everything's good to go. So right now on this card, what we're looking at is the red is what we could change for a parallel. But I don't like just the plain red background. It needs to be something else. It needs to be something with more texture. It needs to be dynamic. So what if we put this on top and set it to multiply? But the thing is, you can't multiply on top of full red, which is kind of funny. So this would need to be like black. Or I guess I can make it this background color. Make it just like dark. And then, I don't know, grab this. And just add a little bit of grit to the background. Which, I mean, this automatically is just making it look better. I think we can add like a little American flag or something. Some little eagle symbol maybe. So I'm going to go to archive.org. Archive.org. And I'm going to look up bald eagle icon. I want to find a bald eagle sort of icon going back to like, let's go 1950. And I want metadata. There's only 171 results, but somewhere in here should be like, you know, like an icon. We just want to make sure we don't find something that's accidentally something Nazis used. Like, this is nice. E pluribus unum. That's what I want to search. And see if we can use something like that. I just want like an eagle figure that we can just kind of use. Kind of like this. This is made in New York. What is this? The American sun. So if I like isolate this eagle and put it in the corner. Crest. The word I'm looking for is crest. I want an eagle crest. Really what I want is like the Team USA logo. So I should just put the Team USA logo up there. That would be the smart thing to do. Let me look up eagle crest. And I'm going to go back to like 1950. And I'm only doing 1950 because I want it to be old looking. And these would have old things on them. Like, this is cool. It's not necessarily that I can use this, but we're going to inspect this element, click on this, click on this, click, 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 and boom, here's this postcard. Save image to downloads. Okay. And this is just for the card, so we can put, I mean, honestly, having debut up here would make sense. And maybe we just put it on there because it's the debut. Let's say it's the debut with me. Because they don't have like a rookie card. It just doesn't happen. Where the hell are my logos? I just can't read. There's a layer named logos in here somewhere. I'm literally blind. Oh, they're right here. So I can just put her debut. I just put debut logo like right here. I mean, that'll look nice. See? I feel like that looks nice. How the logos are on there. Okay. Okay. Let's take this Ilona, and we're going to give this Ilona a stroke of like 5. But the stroke's going to be white. But we need to group it together and then do that so it doesn't hit down there, because that's not where we want it. We want it there. And we just need to smooth it a little bit. Modify. Smooth. 5 pixels. Okay, so that'll be holographic. I think we do a holographic around. I think this just stays how it is, and we keep it how it looks. And this is all pretty much white. The background is where a lot of the holographic comes through, and then maybe just a little bit of a border around like one of these guys. Around like this. I'm gonna duplicate this, get rid of the drop shadow, and give this a stroke of white. But that gets rid of the drop shadow, doesn't it? Yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose. Let's do 5, and then we just get rid of the drop shadow. We give a drop shadow to this. Yeah, so it does that. So then we have a tiny little holographic line there, and that might not actually look bad on everything else. So maybe we put it on everything else. Where even am I? Okay, I gotta go back up here to the mystery. It's like my eyes are broken. Give this a stroke of white of 6. So we got stroke, stroke, and then we'll give a stroke to this back one, which would be nice. Yeah, okay, so we'll just grab that same stroke, go like that. So then those will have holographics on them, which is good. And then we need to do the same thing to this then. Just steal the same stroke. So that'll have a stroke to it. And then this is going to be white on the inside, but we'll just give it a stroke 2. But this stroke is going to be an inner stroke. We just need to change this inner glow then. Not that inner glow, this inner glow then. Be a little bit more and a little darker. Kind of like that. And then a whole stroke around everything. So we have our hollow border, and we're going to give this a stroke. But I wanted a stroke with this taken out. So how do we do that? How do we do that? We put this on top of it. Or we just duplicate it and then get rid of the stroke, and then the stroke goes on the outside. And then we just mask this out. This is not the ideal way to do this. This is how we're going to do this. Oh, I'm using a really dumb brush. The stroke needs to be on top, though, for this to work. Group brush. There we go. Okay. So this is what we're looking at for the card right now. I think it looks kind of cool. think the shadow down here might be a little too much. And maybe the inner stroke we have isn't really working. So we can fix that. I don't think this layer's working. This is fine. The inner glow, I think, just needs to be a little bit less. And then we're going to add a different texture behind that. I know I have a texture that's marble. I just don't know where it is. It's called... Oh, I typed marble wrong. What is this? What is this? This is a thumbnail on my computer. From like Logitech or something. Like built into an app. Marble? What is this? File is broken. Oh, this is on my... Download? It's on a Google Drive. This is fun. Let me just look at this a little bit differently to see if I can download this. It's just not connected to my Google Drive. That's weird. Okay, I know where a different thing is. Assets. Bear with me as I find this texture. I have a texture that I took a photo of in New York City. I think at the World Trade One Center. I'm just very confused as to okay, it's under stock images. It's under my textures. I found it. Okay. I have halftone ones and I have not halftone ones. And I'm pretty sure it's 9 and it is. It's this. So I know this is what Panini has done on a couple things. They'll do this and like give it a nice little faint texture, which looks nice. And maybe we just duplicate this texture because what's more American than, you know, Italian marble? Blow this up kind of like this. Set it to multiply. Maybe we duplicate it so it's really kind of dark like that. And then maybe we invert this. And we actually apply this to our border. Like this. But it's set to normal, set to 100% like this. I know what I'm doing. We get rid of the current layer that's this color, like that, and then we give it a color overlay of I need to hit that first. Okay, now we give it a color overlay. And we give it a color overlay of the blue. But then we just make it as big as we want. And that kind of works, but not really how I want. But then we flip it around. Kind of like this. I gotta put it on both of these. Ooh, why is that happening? Oh, I turned the color overlay off. I turned it off here too. So we got blue there. Blue there. It's kind of going around both, which is kind of nice. And we just kind of add this sort of texture going around. I kind of like how that actually looks. But we need to copy all of these. I don't care. We need to do to the name and info, which is right here. Yeah, we need to paste them. Oh. Why didn't that paste? G? Sorry. Nope, we go like this, turn this to a smart object, and then we go like that. And then maybe just move it down a little bit. I really need them to be the same. Okay, we just basically fudge it. Okay, we'll go like this. Make this smaller. And kind of go like that. Make it horizontal. Yeah. And then we color overlay it, but then it looks like that. I just need a little bit. Just like that. That'll be good enough. And cool. Okay. So this is what we got working with us. I think it should look cool. It's really going to depend. Do we have the outside have the white layer below it? So I'm going to hit, so we have this saved. What do we got? Going on 2 hours right now. Let's see if other people like this idea. Okay, so we have this. So let's mock it up now. Straight. See, I move things. So we're going to open up one of the mock-ups. And we're going to use one that I've been using for a lot of things. What did we do last? We did Kobe Brea. I just went straight on. Kobe not on here? That's weird. Doesn't really matter. We'll just open this up. So we have this, which is just our little guide of examples of how this is going to look. Okay, so let's grab our design. Ooh, where did I save this to? Where's the save to? Oh, this is saved on my server because it should go there because that's not going to take up as much space on my computer, which makes sense. Oh, we need to do this. We need to redo this. Okay, we can redo that pretty quickly, actually. Is this what it is? No, I need to replace this contents with that. Downloads desktop. Ah, crap. There we go. Did almost nothing. But it did something. I can see where it did something. Okay, so we'll save this. Yeah, okay. So this is now on my server. So let me just go to my server, my stuff from streams, and go to my Ilona Maher graphic. This is probably going to have the artboard with it, but we'll just scale it up. It's also a gig and a half, so it's a little bit going on with it. Okay. So we just line this up like that, and like that, and that's where our card is. So we hit save, go back here, and then this will update, but we don't have any of the holographic example. But this already looks kind of cool, and I think we could probably add some more stuff to this border if we're going to print onto it. So we might do that. So let me just type down here, Ilona Maher Auto. Ilona Maher. Okay. So if I save this, we technically can do everything in here now. We don't need that other file. Everything can be done in here. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take these lines right here, and we are going to put them up here. I just need to give it a color overlay, I think, of something, and then I need to make it a... Yeah, I need to do this. I just like how this looks better. What is happening? There. Except I need it to be like that so it doesn't hit there. And we just kind of fudge it around. That looks better. Okay, cool. But then maybe we add a little bit of a texture to that based on one of these weird textures we downloaded. And we go like this. Wow, that took forever. We go like that. Yeah, I don't like that. So maybe we invert it and we invert it so we can see more of it. But we just figure out what we're doing. Let me delete this. I think I know what I want to do. I can probably do it a lot quicker. If I just do lines going across. Well, can I just do the dumb thing with this? Like, what happens if I just use this stupid graving thing on here? Is it just going to make it lines? It should just make it lines. Yeah. And then we just change the engraving effect to be... We do that, but we just change the levels layer so we can actually see what's going on. Or do something like that. Ah, see, it has me save it every time. Which is really stupid. It's not even going to be the right size. So I'm going to do new smart object via copy and then replace contents. And then go with lines. And then set this to screen. Or we set this to normal. Put this at the very top. Go to my channel, select the channel, and then mask it out. And then hide this. So it looks like that. I think that's what I want. I think some of these going behind this red might look cool though. So we can do that. But you can see there's a lot of cool random stuff we can figure out after the fact. Let's just start here. This will update here, which is good and what I want. And then what we can do is we duplicate this and we just take one of these and name it mask. We'll put it below it, set this to multiply, and then we edit the mask. So now we just need to only show the holographic parts, which shouldn't be too difficult. One, we're just going to delete the artboards, so they're just not on here. So a lot of this is going to be fine. So I'm going to just mask out this card. I think this is how this will work, but probably not. That's usually not how I do this. So this whole border is going to be white. So we don't need, the only thing we need from this is, we don't need any of these textures. The textures can go away. We could make the textures, maybe we have the texture show through a little bit. Why is that happening? Is that just where this ends? Oh, that's my bad. I need to fix both of these then. Ooh, yeah, see, I can't do that. I just need to make this a little bit larger. Like that. But I need to fix this in, let me just save this. And then the other one's going to be our mask now. Looking at this on my screen over here, where I see the whole thing a little bit from afar, I do like how this looks. Yeah. So this isn't the mask. This is the normal file. Normal top file. Tile. And then this is the mask. So the easiest thing to do here is to turn this holographic layer on. I'm just going to hide these and not get rid of them because we still kind of want them. So then if we start from the back and work forward, or start from the top, let me hit a button real quick to delete all hidden layers. There. Just going to clean things up a lot. So the texture I don't care about. The texture is fine. I think what I need to do is just copy this and go like that. and then invert it. And then invert it. Yes. Yes, this is what I want. And then I want to give it a color overlay of white. So this will print white. And then this is on top, and it should fill in. Did I do that wrong? I did that wrong. Hold on, I need to turn this into a smart object, grab it, go like this, delete, delete, grab this, go here, and then mask it out. And then invert it. There. So then if I put blue on top of it, it sees through. Okay, that's what I want. We'll save that for now. This is going to be a little bit of a process to figure out. This background red layer I do not need at all. It doesn't need to exist. Everything down here should go away. This all just needs to go away. So then it'll look like this. This texture is going to be a pain in the ass, so we're going to get rid of that because we don't need it. And then this is what we're dealing with for everything else. Okay, white good, white good. Then we just go up here and delete, just start deleting things. We don't need these textures. These textures don't matter. The red background just gets deleted. Okay. So now this needs to be, if we start with name, that's what this is. Okay, we can start there. Basically for all of these, I need to duplicate them. Turn this to a smart object, grabs, deselect, and then basically go like, hold on. I think I just go like that. Yeah, this one in the back doesn't matter. That's where my confusion was. The one in the back doesn't matter. We just give this a color overlay of white so we can see it. Okay, then this is where things get a little bit dicey. We don't need drop shadows. I need to duplicate this, get rid of this. We make this into a smart object. We grab, we subtract. We hide this, we group this, and we mask out from this, and then invert it. So there's a line there. That's what we want. And then we give this a color overlay of white. Or we hide this. We get rid of these, and we give it a color overlay of white. So it looks like that. That's what we need to do. We need to do the same thing here. Oh, this is the texture on top of this. So this is this down here. Okay. So I need to make a new smart object via copy to this. I need to get rid of the stroke. Oh, the stroke is on the inside. So that's a problem, actually. So the stroke being on the inside, I need to create a layer from this, grab the stroke, and then do that. No? Inside, outside? Yeah, save. So then I grab this. Yep. I grab this, subtract this, go like that. And then I need to delete that from both of these layers below it. So I make a group out of this, mask, and then reverse. And then I add the same thing to this layer. And then when I get rid of the one with the stroke and turn on the one that doesn't, you see these teeny tiny lines behind it, which is great and exactly what we want. We have a layer on the inside of this then too, right? There's a line here. So we get rid of the texture. We don't need that. We could probably take the texture out, but we'll just leave it in there. It'll be okay. We don't need holographic behind it. So then we turn this to a smart object, grab this, minus this. Oh, because it's the same thing I did before. So I need to create layers, grab this, mask, invert, get rid of. No. Yeah, I grabbed this. I just grabbed the wrong thing. This is the inner glow. Invert, save, go back. Okay. This is, I mean, this is all the really technical stuff that needs to be done in order for this stuff to work. So I'm going to group this together and then invert behind it. Actually, I don't need to do that. I only need to do it to this. So now we can see behind it. We just need to get rid of all of our drop shadows we have. We need to get rid of those. So if something has a drop shadow, we need to make sure it doesn't have a drop shadow. So what is this? Because I think this has a drop shadow. Okay, sorry. Something froze there for a sec. Where did this go? Does this have a drop shadow in here? Something weird's going on. Because I can see it here. This. There we go. Okay, we get rid of that drop shadow. We can get rid of just her text and her name because we don't need that. But I need to... These are all of these. I can just make a group on here and go like that. There. So now we can see behind all of it, which is exactly what we want. So we just need to do it a couple more times and we'll be good. We just move our way up. So we've got this. We duplicate this. Get rid of the stroke. Turn this to a smart object. Grab, subtract. Go from here. We turn this back on like that. And then we basically just like attach it to everything. We get rid of the drop shadow. We add a color overlay of white. We can just hide all of this because these are just effects on top, which is fine. Okay, so this needs to be taken out from here. So I can just delete it like that. But it's including the drop shadow, which actually isn't that big of a deal and actually doesn't look too bad. So we maybe just keep it there. And then delete it from here? No. Where's this? Is that not in here? Oh, it's not in there. I'm going to just group these together and then mask it and then invert it. There. Let me have 2 more to do. So we're going to duplicate this. Does this have a stroke on it? I didn't give this a stroke. Okay, well that's fine. We can just take this then and just hide these and then just make this white. Do we want to do that or do we want this to look cool? I think that we want this to look cool. So we'll take this, cut it out of the mystery badge. We'll cut it out of this too, and we'll cut it out of this too. So then we should be able to see through it. Yes, good. We just set the fill of this to be 0. Or no, we just go like this, grab this, go like that, take this off from here, go like that, and then so then the stars now will look like this and look cool. Then we take we turn these into smart objects. Take this, subtract it from here, get rid of these, turn this back on. And then we subtract that from everything else. So we make another group, we invert it like this, subtract, we hide the stroke so we can see we're doing stuff correctly. We make another group, drag it down here. And then we make one more group here and we go like that. So then it's cutting through there. She's cutting through everything. That's exactly what we want. And we just give this a color overlay. Except we need it to be on one more thing right here. Okay. So that should be good. So if I turn these off, I need to make this artboard have a background of transparent and then hit save. All of that to just show that what we do is when we go back to this layer, this is set to normal. We put the mask on top like this. We put this on top and set it to multiply, and then we can see through it and we can see how the card would look. But the mask layer, I grabbed the wrong file on here. So in here, the last thing I need to fix is I need to grab this and paste it. It is not pasting in the right spot at all. Is it right here? Okay, it looks like that. So it needs to be like... It needs to be like here. Hold on, I can do this better. This is the last stupid thing. Okay. Okay, so I need to take this, delete, and do that. But this needs to be inverted. Okay, that should be good. So now that we have that, we can go back to our main layer. And it will look like this. So this is what our card looks like. Let me grab her autograph from somewhere in here. Autograph. We'll just put it in this file. Oh, it's not even turned on. And kind of go like this. So this is what it's looking like. It's in a pretty good spot. I'm pretty happy with what we came up with today. I think I'm just going to tweak sort of the background in that red. Maybe we add a little bit of stuff coming through it. But overall, it's a pretty cool looking design. And it looks like this. So we can just tweak this back color to be a dark red. And then maybe we grab this stupid thing and just kind of put this on here and set this to like multiply to like 3 and go like that. And then we go here, and then this is the card. So this is what we made today. Ilona Maher rugby card. I think it looks pretty cool for a single photo debut. There's a lot going on with it. There's a couple things we probably need to tweak a little bit. But what we can do is easily change out the red background here and maybe this background color to tweak the different parallels of it. But that's where we are at. Scott, morning. We're just about to end. But thank you for hopping on from Australia. That's amazing. This is the where we ended up with this Ilona Maher card. I think it looks pretty cool. And honestly, this could be used for any Olympian. It's just specifically we're making it for Ilona Maher. That's kind of how things go. Things can be templated to a point. But this is what we're looking at. I think one thing I might do, if I have it lying around real quick, we can change this parallel to something else. But I think my booklet is upstairs. Hold on. Where did I put that booklet? Yeah, I guess I don't see it. Because we can make the background like fireworks or something. And I think I might tweak that off stream just to get things going. But I'm going to call it a day on that. So this has been a lovely 2 hours, 15 minutes or so, making this card here from scratch. So thank you guys for joining me today. I will keep you guys updated throughout the week. I'll make a couple different parallels of this and tweak a couple things and get the final released on Friday. I actually already emailed her team about the possibility of doing something like this. So they kind of know, or hopefully they saw my email, but I'll post this online and maybe we can get a little bit more movement that way. Thank you for any suggestions on athletes that you want me to do. So like X Games athletes might be good. Snow sport athletes with X Games stuff and the Winter Olympics coming up in a couple years might be good avenues. But I will see you guys next week when we stream again. Let me know what you guys think of this in the comments below. And if you guys want to see any other designs I have and you want to keep up with these designs, make sure you check out my Instagram and Twitter profile. I'll be posting a lot of stuff there. But until then, I will see you guys next time. Thank you for joining me today.